Accidents like this rollover on FM 369 on New Year's Day were a common sight around Wichita Falls all morning. Rain that began falling around 9 a.m. quickly froze on bridges and overpasses, causing a succession of wrecks that caused traffic backups and forced police to close many lanes and ramps and to call for sand trucks.
Folks are just driving too fast for these conditions.
DPS Trooper Tony Fulton says the driver here hit an icy patch on the bridge, lost control and rolled. Luckily, in this case, all 6 occupants, including 4 children in car seats, made it out with only minor injuries. Fulton says drivers are underestimating the danger left behind by this winter weather.
All of the roads aren't slick, and that's what's making it even worse. People are driving, they get up to highway speeds, and then they'll hit a slick spot, or they'll hit a bridge or overpass, which, you know, those always freeze over first.
Many other accidents have been reported on Texoma roads and highways. Fulton says the best thing you can do is avoid getting behind the wheel, but if you are going to drive,
take it easy, take extra time to get where you're going, because there are slick spots out here, and that does make some pretty hazardous driving.
Fulton says it's a minor adjustment that may help avoid a major headache. Powerhouse Gym and many others like it will see a lot of new faces as gym goers try and commit or recommit to a healthier lifestyle in 2015.
Treat this as you're trying to learn a different language. You got to go through building blocks. You have to first get in the gym, and then once you're in the gym, you have to work outside of the gym to get your goal to come together as a puzzle. There you go, work it.
Bobby Rowland is the fitness director and personal trainer at Powerhouse. He says people just need to start slow.
You set a short-term goal and a long-term goal, and maybe a short-term goal could be as simple as coming in 3 days a week, dedicating 1 hour of your time.
You got to stick with it and don't start off too hard, because then you'll just quit.
It's all about getting over the initial hump.
You're going to be sore if you haven't worked out in a long time, but you're going to have to just push through it, because, I mean, that's what happens. And eventually, after a couple weeks, you'll just get used to it and you'll enjoy going to the gym and working out.
Some lose motivation and they do drop off, but we're trying to implement enough stuff to keep everybody here and to stick with their goals.
Small changes, they hope, will help those looking to accomplish their New Year's resolutions a little bit easier.
Hey, Gwen, one of the jurors could not make today's testimony because she was stuck in another state. Garza is charged with killing 32-year-old Monica Bartiva inside her home on the 1300 block of Britton Street on February 9, 2012. Wichita County 78th District Judge Barney Fudge says the juror was returning from a vacation in Peru and missed her connecting flight in Miami last night. Judge Fudge says this forced them to postpone the trial until tomorrow morning. The judge, prosecutors, and defense attorneys discussed the use of the alternate juror, but decided against that because the missing juror is not sick or disabled and can still perform her duties when she returns. Judge Fudge told the jury the trial would be starting up to an hour early every day, and they'll be staying late to make up for the lost time. Also, the trial is being moved to the Denton County ceremonial courtroom for the first half of tomorrow's testimony because of scheduling conflicts with the 211th District Courtroom where the trial is being held. Judge Fudge says he doesn't know where the trial will be held tomorrow afternoon. If there had not been so many delays, there wouldn't be any scheduling conflicts with the courtroom. And Gwen and Doug, the trial is expected to resume tomorrow morning at 8:30.
The cold weather isn't stopping city crews from repairing water main breaks in Wichita Falls, but it's making their jobs a lot harder.
The water will freeze faster, wet clothes freeze faster, it feels a lot colder, and it just makes it a lot more miserable.
The freezing temperatures can pose a danger.
That's what they have to remember first and foremost, is to try to stay as dry as possible.
But if the cold does get unbearable, they have ways to stay warm.
Their trucks are always running. They have a warm place to get in if they get wet or if they get cold.
You get in the truck, you get warmed up, come back out and go to work again.
It's a tip they advise everyone to follow in order to avoid health hazards like frostbite.
The trouble is if too long of a time goes that the skin is below 32 degrees or so, it can actually freeze. Ice crystals can form in skin cells and they can break.
Local dermatologists say long-term exposure to the cold weather could be very dangerous, so if you are going to be outside, it's important for you to layer up. For example, wear an undershirt, also a long sleeve shirt. On top of the long sleeve shirt, you could wear a sweater, a heavy jacket to protect you from the wind chill. And what they say is probably the most important part of your body is your hands and your head to avoid any long-term exposure that could be caused by the cold weather. But you don't want to overdo it.
So if someone's a little overbundled, one of the dangers is they begin to sweat. Then they peel and they're too wet inside, they can chill.
Which can lead to hypothermia. Crews working outdoor are looking forward to the warmer weather.
It's awful at night because there's no sunlight to keep you warm whatsoever. I think most of the guys would probably prefer the summertime over the wintertime.
Duncan Public Works Director Scott Vaughn says they decided to go into stage 5 after its main water source, Waurika Lake, fell below 30%.
Essentially, all outside watering is prohibited as the ordinance is written.
Vaughn says Stage 5 prohibits all Duncan residents from using city resources to water their landscapes, wash vehicles with the exceptions of food transportation or garbage vehicles. Watering foundations around structures and on-site watering at commercial nurseries will also still be allowed. He says residents have already been doing a good job to conserve.
As a whole, the community has been very responsive to the call for conservation.
Local businesses like Wisely's Homes and Pools haven't been impacted just yet, but owner Larry Wisely says he has his concerns.
We'll see how it affects how we go, but we'll try to have some other plans in store.
Wisely says he hopes the Duncan City Council considers making changes to the ordinance.
Well, I think a pool is different than outdoor watering. It's a one-time fill-up for the most part. It may be anywhere from 10 to 20,000 gallons of water, but it's a one-time deal, and then the rest of it's just a maintenance issue, keeping water in your pool.